What is up, guys? Welcome to another reaction slash recap of the UFC Fight Night in Houston. Great card, even though I went terrible, absolutely terrible on my picks. The worst fucking picks I've ever had. 2 for 6. I may be retarded. I'm going to have to lock back in next time and gotta go 100% accuracy. Gotta have a crazy comeback like that. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the first prelim and go all the way to the main event. I only watched 3 of the prelims, so the first 3 I don't know as much about. I did rewatch, but I didn't watch them live. So yeah, let's get into it here. We've got Juliana Miller versus Carly Jedice. From what I saw, this was a pretty good fight. Round 1, you see Jedice. She lands a good left. That was like probably the best shot of the round, and she's just continuously pushing forward. Like, this girl fucking loves to fight. And then, yeah, she's landing way more strikes. However, Miller did have 2 takedowns and a submission attempt, but to no success with those. Significant strikes. She's outstriking her as well. And then, oh, that was not in round 1, was it? Oh, right, first takedown was round 1. Gotcha. Round 2, same thing. Just getting outstruck. And then we start to see the fatigue from Miller. Miller is just not in the cardiovascular shape that Jedice is, in my opinion. And we start to see that here in round 2. Round 3, Miller tries to mix it up, landing a takedown, attempts the submission. She has to try for some type of Hail Mary thing like that because I'm sure she knew that she lost the first 2 rounds. And then, yeah, again, just getting outstruck, and they end up giving the unanimous decision to Jedice here. So that was a good fight, a good way to kick off the card. Next up, Jordan Levitt, bad with the names. We know this. I'm bad with the names. Jordan Levitt versus Yadir Delval. Also a pretty good fight. So, I thought... Okay, yeah. So, round 1. Delval's trying to, like, keep range a little bit. And this round was, like, could have went either way, really. Levitt got 3 takedowns and landed a bunch of significant strikes, even though Delval was landing more strikes. I do think it was like a close first round-ish. Definitely more dominant for Levitt, but it was close. Round 2, now we see more striking from Levitt, and same thing, just hitting him more. And he's also, Rowe's landing some jabs, but it's just not working. He's doing well on the ground and also landing some ground and pound. So round 3 was pretty much the same as round 2, where basically the same things were going on here, yeah. So, I don't know. It was a close fight. Definitely Jordan Levitt, unanimous decision win. He deserved that. But good performance from both guys. All right, now, Phil Rao versus Jean-Paul Lepsaniani. I don't fucking know. All right, so round 1, Jean is so good in the clinch. Like, he does so well in the clinch in close range, and you could definitely see that off rip. He got him in a good clinch or cage side clinch exchange, and he's just outstriking him significantly in this first round. Even though Phil does end up, not Phil, Jean ends up landing a takedown as well, and a good takedown, well timed at that. Significant strikes, also he's striking more. And then round 2, we see Rowe start to land some jabs, but Jean counters so well too. And then, this is where it's like getting close. Like, round 2 could have went him. Round 1 was probably Jean. So now, at this point, it's either 1-1 or 2-0. And then round 3, this was a good round. Rowe really picked up the pace. He probably knew that it was either 1-1 or 2-0, so he knew he had to do a lot this round, and he definitely was giving it everything he had. Jean landed another takedown, though, and had 2 submission attempts. He's good on the ground, too. He had him an almost a Darce for a second, and unfortunately didn't get not unfortunately. I didn't have a horse in this race. But at the end, Rowe has a good fucking combo, and they start exchanging. And it wobbled Jean a little bit. So interesting at the end, and I think, Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to, but it was split decision, so it was close. Just wasn't enough to secure him the victory. All right. Now we got Ramiz Brahimaj versus Punahele Soriano. I have no idea how close I was on those names. All right. Flip my notes over here. Da-na-na. So, this was a much closer fight as well, and some for a couple of rounds. So, round one, more total strikes for Brahimaj, and Soriano though was figuring himself out, starting to find like what's gonna work. Round two, total strikes more for Soriano, and 2 takedowns for him, a takedown for him. But in my opinion, Soriano was better on the ground. Even though it may not have seemed like, at least he was better defensively on the ground because he was able to avoid the ground and pound a little bit better. More significant strikes we saw from Soriano. So round two was close. And then round three, just a dominant round from Soriano. He was landing more strikes, landed more takedowns and significant strikes. He did very well at the end as well. And was able to secure that decision, that unanimous decision. All right, Nora Cornell, I don't know, versus Jocelyn Edwards. This also a very good fight. I honestly thought Cornell was going to take this. I didn't make that in predictions, obviously, but I did think after, especially during round one, I was like, see, she had more strikes, barely, so it was a close round, but this is what I'm talking about. It looked like the strikes were hurting her more. She was throwing some kicks, but it wasn't doing much. I mean, yeah, like she's got pretty big thighs. It wasn't really doing much. Just wasn't enough, really. But I think round one could have went to Nora, in my opinion. And then round two, I think Edwards kind of realized that. She has a good combo off rip, I believe. And then she ends up being the more aggressive striker and lands 2 takedowns, and the second one landing her that submission, which was very good and well done. I honestly thought she might not tap. I thought she might go to sleep, but she did end up tapping. So, but good on Jocelyn Edwards there. All right, now this is where I started to pay attention. So now we can slow it down a little. I'll give you a better analysis because I was kind of speeding through the ones that I didn't. This is where I started really watching. Okay, now Alden Correa, I think, versus Luis Garul. This is a good fight. So round one, a lot of feints at first, both landing some leg kicks. Correa's landing jabs. Garul lands a combo and takes Correa to the fence. Correa reverses in the clinch, and then Correa landed a takedown of his own. Correa keeps using that outside leg kick, and it seems to be working pretty well. Seems to be a bit of a speed difference in Correa's favor as well. So yeah, he was striking a little bit more, significant strikes more as well. And then we move on to round two. Garul catches, like grabs the kick and lands some nasty shots, and then lands a takedown. Correa's still throwing leg kicks, and after that takedown gets back up, he's still throwing leg kicks. Correa's landing the more technical strikes, I would say, and eventually ends up pushing cage side. Correa lands a nasty combo in that close range cage side scruffle there, and Garul starts landing some shots of his own. He then pushes cage side, where Garul lands an intense takedown, and Correa takes top control off that takedown, though, for the end of the round. So, round two, more strikes from Correa still, but the takedown, and that was close. That round was much closer than the first one. Now, round three, Garul comes out strong. I think he knows that it's, most likely 2-0, so he realizes, like, oh, shit, I got to start pushing this fight or else I'm going to fucking, lose. So Garul comes out strong. He's pushing cage side, and Correa starts landing, though. Like, he's countering well and starts landing technical combos and lands a takedown. He actually lands 2 takedowns, like, right in a row. Then pushes cage side again. Both guys have good exchanges there. And then Correa starts chasing a late finish. Garul tries for a Hail Mary, but just was not able to secure that. And then obviously Korea got the unanimous decision win there, and that was good. Honestly, I can't wait to see more from him as a fighter. He's young, coming up, and I think he'll be pretty good for this division. Next, O'Day Osborne versus Alibi Idris. I don't know how to say that. This was also a very good fight. Okay, so they did count this as a takedown, but I thought he failed the takedown because I have here in my notes Idris fails takedown, but then O'Day gets dropped by a left. He gets back up quick, didn't really seem to bother him too much, and then O'Day starts kind of countering. Idris is attacking like so aggressively, and then eventually ends up pushing cage side. Okay, yeah. So he did. He failed his first takedown attempt, landed the next one, and then he maintains top control. O'Day lands a punch. After this, they get back up. O'Day lands a punch and starts fighting well at the end. He's like starting to put together some combos. It's starting to work, but in the end, Idris here still had more strikes, had that takedown, so it was definitely his round. Now round 2, Idris was more cautious coming out after he got hurt. Like O'Day hurt him with that at the end, so he was like a little bit more, definitely a little more worried, a little more cautious. He's kind of sort of running away at the beginning parts of these rounds, and then O'Day seems to have found his footing. He stuffs a takedown. Idris is pushing cage side again, and then gets on top of O'Day eventually. O'Day gets back up, but Idris pushes cage side again and lands a body lock takedown. Beautiful body lock takedown, by the way. O'Day struggles to get back up for the final seconds of the end of the round on that one. So that was a much closer round. Still give it to Idris, though. Now, round 3, I think O'Day's realizing he's got to turn it up again. We see a lot of that this card, it feels like. So Idris he's doing a good job of keeping O'Day at range and then lands another takedown. Starts landing some strikes on the ground. O'Day gets back up and lands some shots in the clinch of his own. Both fighters are trying to keep pressure. It's like a battle. Who's going forward? Who's going forward? Like, that's what they both want. Want to be the guy pushing forward, not the guy walking back. So that seems to be kind of the vibe for this round. And Idris lands a takedown on O'Day again. Well, actually, O'Day ends up on top this time. And Idris gets up and then gets tagged, so he pushes cage side again. You know, O'Day's tagging him. He pushes cage side again for the end of the round. Unanimous decision victory for Alibi Idris. Alibi? I don't fucking know. Yeah, he got the win there. What is O'Day's haircut, by the way? Like fade, but fucking donut on top? I really don't know what that is. Interesting. All right, now. Chidi Nyokani. I don't fucking know. Chidi Bang Bang. That's his nickname. I like his nickname. Versus Carlos Leal. What an animal Carlos Leal is, honestly. This was a great fight. One of my favorites of the night, for sure. As far as resilience from both guys. So round 1, Chidi's throwing kicks off rip, keeping him at range, and it's very smart because he's the longer guy. So he's doing a good job throwing at kicks and keeping Carlos Leal at range. Very smart. But then Leal lands a nasty combo, and it hurts him bad. So Leal just starts pouring on the punches, walking Chidi down. Chidi's trying to use the clinch defensively to sort of keep Leal off him, but it's, not working great. Chidi starts putting some strikes together as well at the end, sort of countering and trying to make him respect his hands, but Leo's just hunting him down. This guy's eyes during these fights are insane. His eyes are like this. He's like staring like this the whole entire time right at this guy. It's terrifying. And then, yeah, obviously he had more 60 strikes, though. He was really throwing them. It was crazy. And they were all significant. Wow, these stats are insane. Of 131, he threw 131 strikes in one round. That's, wow, wild. Now, round 2. We see a switch up. So Leal gets Chidi cage side. Chidi lands a knee here, a good knee. Leo follows up with a big right hand that hurts Chidi, but Chidi recovers well and answers with shots of his own. Leo lands a takedown, which I was surprised by. Chidi gets up and he's getting pushed cage side. But we see some more strikes from Chidi actually at this point, and as we can see, he had the more total strikes and significant strikes this round. So at this point, I'm thinking it's 1-1. We got to see what happens in round 3. Now, round 3, very close round. Was this split? This was unanimous. Interesting, based off these stats, but I don't know. So round 3, Chidi comes out swinging, but Leo's countering so well. Leo's throwing some big shots and landing some big shots. Chidi's still landing strikes as well, but Leo gets dropped or slips. I wasn't really sure, but comes back up swinging. Both guys exchanging some nasty combos at the end of this round. So Chidi's still in the fight, even though it's looking like this point he probably lost. And yeah, Leo ends up getting the unanimous decision. But it was close, and it was a very good fight. I think this was the featured prelim, I believe, was this one. So yeah, very good. Good performance from both guys. Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira. The first of my picks. That actually did hit. This one did. I was correct about this. And I believe at the start that Michel was the underdog, but by the end, I believe he was the favorite. By the time the fight started. So, interesting. Now, there's a lot of weird things that were going on during this fight, but round 1, Michel lands a hard body kick and drops Reese immediately, and I'm like, oh, it's over. I thought he was going to get him right there. He gets back up, and then Michel lands a big left hand and drops his ass again. Reese is trying to load up some big shots. Like you see him loading up. He wants to maybe give some of that back that Michel Pereira has given to him, but it's just not going his way. Michel got hit in the nuts, maybe. The replay didn't really look like it, but as John Anik was saying, there's no real reason for him to be. He's clearly winning the round, It must have hurt his nuts, I guess. If you watch the replay, it's not like it's close, not that close. I'm not sure. It was very, who knows at that point. After that, it takes a couple seconds. Reese starts pushing forward, and Michel gets hit in the nuts again. Maybe. Same deal. This one looked even more clean, in my opinion. But it wasn't enough to hurt him in the body that he would need to fake that, is what I was thinking. So I'm not really sure what happened. Did he need a break already in round 1? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Dean Thomas seemed to think so. But I wasn't sure. And they gave him the benefit of the doubt and said both were good, I guess. They didn't take any points or anything. So, yeah, I don't really know. After this, Reese is still pushing forward. He then gets taken down, and both are landing some shots on the ground. So, interesting end for round 1. More total strikes from Reese, actually. But that takedown, I think, is kind of what secured the round and the significant strikes. Like, Reese ended up getting dropped twice. So, really, more significant strikes. I'm going to have to agree to disagree on that one with the scorecard makers here. So, round 2. Michel drops Reese with a knee to the body. So, third time he's getting dropped, it seems like. He then pushes him cage side, then gets poked in the eye. And this is when people are like, all right, what the fuck is going on? Is this guy just like calling these because he needs time to rest? He does look a little cardio tired, but this one was an actual foul. They did the replay. Finger went right in the eye. And Herb was warning him prior to this to close his fingers. I believe it was Herb that was the referee. So this was definitely, that was a real foul for sure. Then we see Reese land a takedown after the eye poke here. And lands some ground and pound. Michel gets up, runs to cage side while Reese is kind of holding him. And then Michel ends up tagging up his body with some knees. Michel is winning the exchanges for sure, but not much output for the final minutes. But Michel does do this backflip kick at the end, so that was pretty cool. Ended round 2. Now round 3. Took a lot of notes apparently. All right, round 3. Michel lands a heavy hook, and Michel continues to knee up the body, and he's in the clinch exchanges. He's still throwing that knee up the body, and it's doing well, so I don't blame him for continuing to do that. A lot of body jabs as well, and Michelle's timing his shots very well, waiting for Reese, and Reese is being a little hesitant, and Michelle's capitalizing on that, it seemed like to me. Reese starts to look tired now. Round 2, we saw Michelle looking tired. Round 3, looked like Reese was starting to wear some of that fatigue. And then they have a good scramble at the end, and they're both swinging big shots at the end of the round. And yeah, ended up being a split decision. I thought it was close. I didn't think it was that close. So, I'm biased. Michelle was my pick. Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. My other pick that was actually correct. 2 out of the 6. So, as much as it would have been a good comeback story for Josiah Harrell to win this after the brain problem he was having and got the surgery, the plate in his head, that is not what happened. He did take this fight on short notice, and yeah, ended up getting finished in that first round there. So, basically what happens, Josiah shoots a takedown early and shoots takedown early. Josiah's throwing, but not landing. He's throwing a lot of shots, they're not landing. Smith lands a takedown twice. Josiah gets up quickly both times, lands a body kick. He's landed a good body kick. Josiah lands a takedown again, but gets beautifully reversed by Smith. And then Smith's kind of got a hold of his arm, and he's just fucking punching him in the face while he's on the ground. Some wildly nasty ground and pound. And then the ref steps in. Late stoppage by the ref, maybe. But the ref was kind of on him, and he was still punching. The ref got mad at him, but also, ref, like, lock in, hurry up. And it was kind of sad to see Josiah Harrell at the end was, like, trying to get up and struggling to get up and thought the fight was still going on. It was sad. Like I said, he's got this sort of comeback story. And yeah, but good for Jacoby. Jacoby's a great fighter. I'm excited to see what he does in this division. I think he has a very strong chance at making a championship run within the next year or two here. Because I believe that was his 3rd fight in the UFC and 3rd finish as well. So he's on one right now. Next, we got Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delaya. I don't know. This is where my picks went downhill and stayed downhill for the rest of the night. So, we've got Sergey Spivak here versus Ante Delija. I'm not sure. Round 1. Good jabs from both guys off rip. They're both jabbing well. Slight advantage maybe to Spivak, but Ante lands a good fast combo, Ante lands a good fast combo. Ante then lands a big right hand, and they're still exchanging jabs for the end of the round here. Jab heavy fight so far, but yeah, definitely Spivak he's looking way faster than normal at this point. So I gave the first round to Spivak. Now round 2, despite these weird strikes, I thought Ante took this round. Still a lot of jabs from both guys. Ante is having a hard time getting in good range, but he's the guy that's pushing forward the entire time still. He lands a really good exchange that hurts Spivak, and I'm thinking, all right, he's about to TKO his ass. Ante beats Spivak's ass up against the fence in the clinch, and then just couldn't keep throwing punches. Spivak was covering up too well, and ended up not getting the finish there. They ended up breaking off the fence for the final seconds of the round, but that I thought was Ante's round. I'm not sure where the fuck these total strikes and significant strike stats are coming through, but I thought that was Ante's round. Ante's face was busted up, but he's got a lot of scar tissue, so that's sort of to be expected. And we didn't see a lot of grappling this fight until the 3rd round a little bit here. So Spivak's coming out strong with, again, just spamming that jab button. He fails a takedown at first, but lands the second one. Ante gives up his back in order to try to get back to his feet and does successfully get back to his feet. Ante starts landing a little bit, and then Spivak's still landing those jabs. Ante's landing good and pushing forward, landing some big shots. Spivak has a great combo at the end that I think won him this fight. I thought it was maybe a little closer than what the judges were saying, but definitely even Spivak at the end said, I was hoping for a better win, but it was still a win nonetheless. So, good job on the polar bear on that one. Next, Dan Ige versus Melquizzle Costa. What the fuck happened here? I was so confident Dan Ige was going to rock this kid's shit. And unfortunately, that was not the case. I mean, look at the guy's mustache. How could I not root for him? Dan Ige, up to this point, had never been finished in his UFC career, and that is something that he no longer... Wow, buzzer beater. I didn't realize how even close that was. No longer can say. So, in the beginning of round one, Dan lands a takedown early. Very well timed. Good job. They get in a good scramble. We see a good scramble off that takedown from Costa. Dan's pushing Costa against the fence and trying to keep the fight at close range due to the obvious reach advantage of Melquizzle. But Melquizzle's like throwing a lot of kicks. Again, once they get against the fence again, Costa lands his own takedown. Costa and Dan fighting for cage side control and cage side dominance once he gets back up. Costa's throwing head kicks, not landing them though up to this point. He lands a good combo at the end. Costa lands a good combo, and then Costa lands a spinning back kick and TKOs his ass. Spinning back kick catches him clean, well timed, drops to the ground, followed up by several ground and pound shots. Referee calls it. Dan was kind of saying, "Oh, you called it too early," but I don't know if that's the case. I think it was probably a good call by the ref. So damn, I'm a Dan Ige fan, so this is a hard one to watch. But Melquizzle's coming up. He's coming up strong. The Dalmatian that he is. Interesting choice to he really embraced his vitiligo. You can barely even see it here in the picture. Just a touch on his face. But yeah, so he's a danger, man. He's dangerous. He's coming up. He's young, strong, fast. So we're going to see how that goes. That's going to be pretty close, I'd say. Did that get performance of the night? Oh, I thought it did. Hold up. It did. Yep, performance of the night there. I didn't realize how many of these they gave out like 4 of these this card, so I didn't know about that. Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic, the doctor as they call him. What do they call Jeff Neal? What do they call him? Hands of Steel. Not the case last night. Okay, Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic, another first round finish. So, what the fuck, Jeff Neal? You fucked me. Again, wrong on my pick. So, I really thought Jeff Neal was going to be the better fighter here. Uros has been finished before, so I was like, he'll finish him, but not the case. Neal comes out, lands some good inside strikes, and then Medic lands a good body kick. And after that body kick, he lands a crazy combo, and then a big right hand from Medic that knocks out Jeff Neal. So it was that simple. 1 minute, not less than 2 minutes in. Guy's got some power in his fucking hands, and Jeff Neal ended up feeling that last night. Too bad for Jeff. I hope he can recover well. Maybe work on his defense. Uros, very respectful, it seemed in the end. So great, impressive win for him. Obviously, I'm a little salty because I thought Jeff Neal was gonna whoop this guy's ass, but that's all right. Good co-main event though. Very good co-main event. Now, last but certainly not least, where the hell is it in my notes? Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez. And what a fight it was. Another performance of the night. We did not see any ring rust, any cage side rust from Sean Strickland last night, guys. He looked as sharp as he ever does. Wow, look at all the strikes. Just the volume he put on in 3 rounds, no less. Imagine if this went 5 rounds. Wild. So, round 1. We see Sean using that jab, as we know he does. He's only got a few tricks up his sleeve, and one of them is constant jabbing. Sean's using that jab, start utilizing some low kicks as well. Fluffy's like kind of trying to work in some, and he's throwing some body shots, but like body jabs kind of, and some low kicks of his own. Sean lands a good combo on Fluffy. Fluffy eats that pretty well, though. Fluffy then lands a good combo of his own and pushes Sean cage side. Sean gets wobbled, and I'm not sure if he fell or slipped or what. Sean's like continuously circling away throughout this fight, but still landing jabs. We see a good flurry by Fluffy at the end. Close-ish first round, I thought. The scorecards do not dictate that, but I thought it was a close first round. I had Fluffy to win this. I thought, you know, guy's on a 7-fight win streak, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. Sean was ready, man. Sean was ready. There's a reason he used to be the champ, man. Round 2, Fluffy fakes a takedown to land a shot. I think that was a good idea. Try to mix it up, throw some feints in there, because he's having a hard time getting in range of Sean Strickland. Fluffy's throwing shots. Yeah, he just lands a shot, and he follows up with some more shots. Sean just ends up keep spamming that jab and teep kicks him. Anytime Fluffy would try to, he bounced almost off the back of the cage and threw a teep kick. It was actually pretty good. Didn't seem to hurt Fluffy too bad at that time, and then he's just still spamming that jab and just throwing that jab over and over. You've eaten 100 jabs by this point. You know, you have to get some type of finish. And Sean Strickland, the defense this guy has is amazing. Also, the cardio. We don't even, I didn't even realize how good Sean Strickland's cardio was. If you look, his mouth isn't even open. He's breathing strictly through his nose, which I thought was insane. I was like, how is he even still functioning? I don't know if that's maybe a strat or not, but yeah, I thought that was crazy. Now, round 3, Fluffy's trying to stay busy, throwing hands. You know, he's trying to flurry Sean. He lands some flurries, gets some good punches in there. Fluffy eventually is pushing Sean cage side, so Sean lands a body knee, and it hurts Fluffy bad. You see him like bend over, and Sean starts hunting him down like a shark when he fucking sees blood. He's just fucking coming at him after that. Boom, 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 boom. Whooping his ass cage side. And then, you know, he falls, boom, ground and pound from Sean. They called the fight. And that was how I went 2 for 6 on my picks, guys. MMA Guru said it best that Fluffy's fluffy belly here is ripe for teeps. Quote MMA Guru. Ended up being a knee that dropped him, but similar. I mean, you get what he's saying. Like, he couldn't take the body shots. And he was right. Sean, very respectful and very nice at the end of this fight. We heard in his interview, he was really praising Anthony Hernandez here, saying that he wishes he could be more like him. Anthony's a father and a husband. Anthony lost his father last year. That was sad. Sean, just a real class act, honestly, which you don't... Honestly, I didn't expect to see it from him. At the end of this round, though, at the end of the fight here, he had Anthony join him in his fight interview. It was really, really classy. You know, maybe we're seeing a new different... I mean, we saw the press earlier this week, so not too new different, but just, you know, I was impressed by that, you know. Sean Strickland may have gained a new fan. I mean, I always liked him, but I did think he was going to lose. Yeah, but he didn't. He got that win, and that's the fight recap. Maybe not as detailed as normal, guys. Sorry about that, but I'll try to give you the best content I can. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Some comments wouldn't hurt. Peace out.